Right, let's see if that works. Maybe that works. Evening, everybody. If you're watching, if this is actually working, which hopefully it is. What a nightmare! The PC behind me again has been working absolutely fine all week, ridiculously well, and as soon as I started streaming, I got a blue screen straight away again.
I'm Bridget Green. And I'm Kevin Weber.
Absolutely unbelievable. So hopefully you can all hear me okay and the sound is okay and all that kind of stuff. Let's make sure that's live. Yes, that looks okay, I think.
Sorry, let me get it up on here.
Let's have a quick look in the live chat. Say hello to some of you that have taken the time out of your Saturdays to join us. We've got Welsh Tony's in the house. Evening, Tony. How are you doing? British Noobs in the house. Captain Meets Adventures. Sky Stalker all the way in from sunny Canada. Aletta's in the house as well. Good to see you all in the chat. Also, MMB Tech TV. Just finished watching a premiere over on MMB Tech TV about some Samsung kind of earbud clones. Or was I say eardot clones, but eardot's the company. But just watched that interesting video actually. Going to check those out a little bit later. Although I may be checking out a new PC, possibly an Intel based one. Or actually, this is going to lead me really nicely into what the subject of tonight's video was supposed to be about upgrading the PC. Now, I am pretty much sure that whatever is causing the problems with my PC there is down to AMD. There you go, I've said it. I'm pretty sure, almost 100% sure that it's an AMD issue, and probably something to do with Radeon graphics. Why oh why can why oh why can AMD do something so well on one side of the fence with their CPUs and APUs, and on the other side of the fence it's an absolute crap fest? What is going on? The driver's horrendous. My inbox is completely plastered, littered with people crying out for help with their AMD graphics cards. Over on our Discord server, which of course you're all welcome to join, tons of people in there asking the same questions as well, and it makes it even more difficult because at the moment AMD pricing is really good and you do seem to get some really good value for money. But if you're looking for a graphics card at the moment, I would definitely look towards Nvidia. And in fact, actually I've reached out today to our friends at Zotac to find out if their RTX 2060, the mini version, whether or not it's got the same TU chip as the KO version from EVGA. If so, I'm all over it, because at the moment it's £270 on Amazon, which I was going to show you on the screen, but that's obviously not going to happen now. So you'll have to look at that for yourselves. Maybe we'll stick some links in later on after the video's done. But the 2060 KO is pretty much where things are at the moment, value for money wise. The 1660 Ti, pretty decent card, but for the extra few pounds really, for the 2060, the KO versions or the increased capacity ones or TU versions, whatever you want to call them, they look like they're the way to go. So yeah, that is where we're at. Yeah, Super Knight says, because Radeon software sucks. It does, and again, it could be a Windows 10 thing, as Tony quite rightly has said in the comments there. It could well be a Windows 10 thing. But the weird thing is, because I've got Cast Machines Windows 10, my video editing PC, which we're now streaming from, is Windows 10. That's Windows 10. They're all pretty much the same thing, and relatively similar hardware. And in fact, I've swapped the hardware around various times, and it's this one still keeps on giving me issues. Now it could still be because the power words is hard tonight. It could be because of the power delivery on this. That is still potential. I haven't got around to swatching it. Swatching? Oh my god, someone else's teeth are in my mouth tonight. I haven't got around to swatching. Oh my god, I did it again. I haven't got around to switching out the power supply. Now basically what I've got down here is there's a double socket coming out of the wall, and I've got a trailing socket going to that side and a trailing socket coming to this side, which is feeding the power to this. So potentially it could be that. It has been known for a bad power supply or a bad trailing socket to cause issues. It just seems really unusual what's going on. And also the fact I'm plugged in this computer, actually no, that's onto a slightly separate one. So yeah, possibly it could be a dirty power issue, but I don't think it is. I'm I'm almost 100% sure that it's something to do with the NVIDIA AMD drivers. Incredible.
And also, we tried the USB.
We did actually try a USB thing as well, because a lot of people get that kind of error message with dodgy USB. Now I did have a long 5-meter USB extension, very similar to this one, which was from a company called CSL, which I got years and years ago, which is what I normally would have my C920 camera plugged into, which normally gets the kind of the other view in the live streams. So I'm not entirely sure that it's not the actual webcam, so I need to do some testing on that. The cable I've replaced, and this is a much better quality cable. It's got a power LED on there to tell you that it's getting sufficient power. Also, there's another link light as well, so if you've got a USB device plugged in, it lights up to say there's a good link. So I think we've pretty much eliminated that from our inquiries. The only other potential thing it could be is the USB slots that I'm actually plugging into on the Asus X370 board. I'm actually plugging into, there's 2 separate green slots on the board, which are for the enhanced USB 3.1 Gen 2 connection. So potentially that could be the issue. It could be those particular ports. I really need to start making a log of what I'm changing, actually physically write it down so that I can go through the fault finding process properly to definitely get an answer. It's, yeah.
You've got 2 more things to try.
It's not a lot of fun, I've got to be honest with you. So far, the only thing which is pretty much the same in that system is the case and the fans. And I don't think cases or fans, well, potentially the case could be doing it. There could be something to do with the power switch. It hasn't got a reset switch, so it isn't that. Maybe it's the power switch, briefly blipping to turn it off, but I can't really see that happening. Although, you never know. Stranger things have happened, so maybe we might go ahead and actually reshell that PC into another chassis and actually see if that makes a difference. You never know, it could be one of the USB 3.1 headers or a USB 2 header, which somewhere along the line has just got a little bit of a funny connection on it. It could well be that. Mostly, when you're diagnosing a PC, ideally what you want to do is take the thing out of the box, put it onto a nice bench and run it all to make sure it's completely happy.
When it only happens when you're
But when it only happens when I'm streaming, does seem a little bit odd. It could be something to do with OBS. There is the latest version of OBS on there, and I am, or at least I was using the hardware encoder. I did briefly change it to the software encoder to see if that made a difference, and then I got a different error message. So, I don't know, maybe it is OBS. We'll soon see what is going on. Hopefully. If not, I'm going to take it into the garden and potentially burn it with fire. Lots of fire. Which hopefully I'll be able to do with my new camera when it arrives, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Alexa says, not having any problems with my 5700 XT, no Radeon software issues with me. Yeah, I wonder if it is something to do with the streaming software. Could possibly be. I do need to look into that a little bit closer. Although I'm pretty sure beforehand there was issues with it crashing even without OBS running. It was just on a blank screen and it would just randomly crash. Okay, we'll have a look at that. So, yes, nothing else there. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. Skystalker says, I would skip the 1660 unless you're very, very price sensitive. Stephen Simmons in the house, good evening to you. Yeah, it's a very, very, very... Oh, British Noob says, can I throw a webcam at it? Well, you can throw a webcam at this webcam, just in case it is that. I don't think it is that, to be fair. Actually, what I might do, if I log into this PC now, and I'll leave this running in the background and we'll see if it just blue screens for some random reason. Actually, saying that, if I... Yeah, I'll open up a couple of windows. Let's restore all of my tabs.
Can you put your
See what happens.
OBS on there?
OBS on...
That one.
I want to see if it dies.
That's the one we think it is.
Yeah, it could... Oh, there we go. Has that crashed? I know, it's just loading Discord.
Mute it.
So OBS is on. Okay, OBS in the background. So we'll see what happens with that. It may well die. So, yes, there we go. Suds is in the house. Hi, Suds. How you doing? Ah, dear. No stress. Oh, Ninja 47 update on the very cheap RX 484 gig that you bought on eBay. It works very quiet and plays games very well. Awesome. Skystalker says, yes, Mike, the USB 3.1 Gen 2 uses a dedicated chip on the X370 chipset. ASUS typically uses AS Media chips. Might look for a specific driver. Actually, yeah, that's not a bad idea, because when I did the fresh install, I'm pretty sure previously I probably would have downloaded the specific drivers from ASUS's site. So yeah, that's something we're definitely going to look at. I may potentially do another live stream tomorrow, actually just going through the fault finding on that, just so people can see what's going on, actually maybe get some ideas from themselves. We'll see what happens.
Hopefully you will be.
MMB Tech says, I'll be jumping and doing some live streams for the next few months. Would you recommend OBS or anything else that you can use on a Mac? I've got to be honest with you, OBS is the only thing that I've actually had any kind of real experience of. And overall, actually, I found it to be really good. And I've been doing live streams now for, what, 2 years or so, Kath, is it? Yeah, about 2 years. And touch wood, it's actually been pretty good, pretty stable.
The only issues we've had is the new YouTube studio.
Yeah, previously the only issues we had was getting it configured with the new YouTube studio, but as soon as we got through those things, seems okay. And actually, while we're talking of YouTube studio and streaming and all that kind of stuff, what is my sound quality coming through like? Is the sound quality coming through okay, or is there a little bit of a crackle to the sound? Be interested to know. I have done a couple of videos recently, and I don't know whether it was a dirty connection or just something gone a bit screwy with the camera, or my ears, because I'm still a little bit deaf due to the man flu that I've been suffering from, which actually is clearing up pretty much now. So I'm probably about 90% on the mend now, which is awesome. But yeah, let me know, what is the sound quality like? Is it the usual kind of sound quality? Is it sounding okay? I've got to be honest with you, actually in OBS on there, I didn't actually adjust my mic volume. So this is purely straight out of camera, straight into the system. So hopefully it's all good. Yes, okay, so yeah, I think that's pretty good. MMB says, thanks for that, no problem. Angry Dove says, it's fine for me. Okay, so yeah, we'll go with that. Sounding good, awesome. So, what I've been doing this week, well, actually, not a lot. Still been trying to recover from this man flu, which has really been kind of hanging around. Maybe it's just because I'm an old fart and it takes longer to get over these things, but definitely been struggling. This has been a really bad one. I wouldn't say it's definitely the coronavirus or anything like that, but it certainly at times has felt like absolute death. Unfortunately, our son George has now got it and he's not feeling very well, so it seems to be passing round. So fingers crossed I don't get it again. That would be bad.
But us girls haven't had it, or haven't struggled.
Seamanite says that I'm sounding like Mike's unboxing. Awesome. Excellent. Okay, yeah, so this week what we've been doing, we've done a couple of videos. So in a moment we've done obviously from last week we did the GameMax Diamond build, which seemed to go down really well, very popular. Yeah, end of last week, this week?
Monday.
Was it Monday?
I think so.
Blimey, doesn't time fly?
Tuesday, Wednesday was our anniversary.
Losing track of time completely. So we did the GameMax Diamond build, which actually is still in the front room, behind the TV, waiting to get some use. Got a family coming around tomorrow, so maybe we'll fire up the old beast. The one thing I did notice actually, because it's using that older R9 380X, because it's an older AMD card, it doesn't have the zero fan, so without going in there and doing some tweaks, it is quite noisy. So because it's got an APU in it, it's got a Vega 3, and it's only used for light work, I may well take that graphics card out of there. That's something we'll maybe playing around with tomorrow, see how that goes. But overall, it's actually been a very good system. And ironically, there was a video from Kyle at Bitwit, who actually did a very similar kind of low-end build, purely for using the GeForce Now series, which effectively was kind of like the inspiration behind that one. So it's good to see that I'm thinking kind of on the right lines at the moment, hopefully. So that was all good. Yes, that was excellent. Then we did the Sahara, the Sea God case, the, was that H600? I get confused with all the names in these cases at the moment. So the Sahara H600, which was actually a really nice case. Very impressed with that. Sahara, sometimes, as much as I hate to say it, because they've been really good to me and sent me a lot of products for review, some of their stuff has been a little bit on the kind of cheap side, and it's kind of like the lower end of the market. But definitely the H600 and the C500, which we did previously, both of those cases of Sahara have noticeably upped their game. I don't know whether they've got a new OBM in China which are making these cases for them, or done the designs for them, but whatever they've done, awesome work guys, keep it up. those cases are fantastic. The Pirate Duo Wing fans, or Duo Ring fans even, really good. The Typhoon 14s, I did have a couple of issues with trying to get them to regulate, which I've raised with our contact at Sahara to see what the deal is there. For some reason, they don't seem to want to RPM down. They're not sending through the signal through to the controller, to the motherboard, so very difficult to regulate them, even with some voltage tweaks. Just didn't seem to like it, so they seem to be spinning at a constant speed. Whether it's a manufacturing defect, I'm not too sure. Hopefully we'll find out later on in the week. Obviously things are getting a little bit slow and China's on a bit of a close down, so when they're trying to relay messages to their OEMs, etc., it's all taking a little bit of time, but hopefully we'll find out about that. Actually, one of our old YouTube friends, Brian, Britecho9, actually did a video today on the same case with the fans. He didn't actually show any footage of the fans spinning, or at least with audio, which I would have been really interested to see what his experience was of those fans. So maybe Brian, if you're watching, or friends of Brian are watching, find out for me, let me know, see if he had similar issues. It'd be interesting to see if I was the only one, or whether it was a manufacturing defect, or whatever the case may be. Pun totally intended. Moving on, next one, we did the unboxing of that, then we did the build as well. And then, what was that? Oh, changing the time on the Fitbit, which is something which Kath's been nagging me to do for a long time, because, to be fair, Fitbits are an absolute pain in the backside. I struggled through with one for probably about 3 years or more, through various models, probably even 4 years or so.
It wasn't really the Fitbit for you though, it was the Android.
Yeah, to begin with, it wasn't so much the Fitbit device, it was more the Android's integration with Fitbit, but as things have gone on, I think Fitbit have definitely lost their shit. There is something seriously wrong with their chipsets, the longevity, quality, all that kind of stuff. From their early models, the Charge HR, which for my money was fantastic and did exactly what it was supposed to do. But I think if they added all these more features and all the complexity and trying to keep it down to a low price, the quality control has gone out the window. The software is abominable, very difficult to navigate. And we get a lot of comments, people saying, how do I do this? Where is that feature? How can I do this? And yeah, actually, a lot of people are saying that our technical support for Fitbit is actually better than Fitbit's own technical support. So it's really nice to hear people saying things like that. We do appreciate it. So that is why I'm keeping some of these videos updated for the new versions of the app, etc., and for some of the new models, just so that I'm not kind of like doing the videos and then dumping it. Something we're going to sort of keep doing as long as Fitbit are going. But the way things are going, Fitbit are now sold off to Google, so Lord only knows what's going to happen there, whether they're going to introduce like Google Wear into Fitbit or vice versa, whether one's going to take over, who knows. And yeah, Fitbit is pretty tightly integrated with Alexa, so it's all going to be absolute, oh dear, what is going to happen, but we'll find out in due course. So anyway, that was the videos that we've done this week, which yeah. Actually, Captain Meets Adventure, I've just noticed your comment there. Seriously, Mike, what impact will the virus in China have on tech? It's actually having a massive effect already. We've definitely noticed it. We're a really, really small channel comparatively with what is else on the internet. And normally from our kind of Chinese friends, we'll get 2, 3, 4 emails a day with various different products. Whereas now we're getting maybe one. There was a case probably last week where literally there was nothing. We've noticed this week we've got some more come through. 8man, who do the cameras and action cameras and projectors, they've reached out to us this week. Also, I can't think of the other company. It was a new company. Well, it's a company we've worked with before, but they've rebranded. It was Gym Tab. They've reached out to us again. They've got a brand new projector which is upgraded, which they've asked if we would take a look at. So we'll be taking a look at that. Also, an interesting one, I don't know, for those of you that are in America, if you watch the Super Bowl, during the advert breaks, there was an advertisement for the Skull Shaver, which is for those of us that are slightly more follically challenged or like to have very short hair. And there was a big piece on that, or a big advertising spot on there. So I don't know how, but they've reached out to me and they said, Mike, we love your videos. Would you like to take a look at our Skull Shaver? So obviously, I am a generally kind of follically challenged individual, and I do have to shave my head on a regular basis. Mostly I use clippers. I've not really gone the full hog and gone kind of razor on it. So we're going to get a school shaver and give it a go and see how easy it is. From what I can see from the videos already, it's like it takes about 90 seconds to do a complete head shave, which is, if it's something you're going to do on a daily basis or every couple of days, every minute counts in this lifetime. So you don't want to be wasting time cutting your hair or finding clippers or charging them, whatever. You want to just grab your skull shaver and shave your head and go. So we'll be doing the review on that. That's going to be pretty interesting. I'm a little bit terrified, but a little bit excited at the same time. So we'll see what happens there. Should be good. Should be good fun. What else have we got, Kath, coming up? Who else have reached out to us? We've had the usual thing from, like, every day there's an email coming through saying, hi, my name is, insert name here. I am from such and such advertising company. We will pay you between $200 and $4,000 to make a video. And it seems to be this real spammy thing which is going around at the moment. So we get about 4 or 5 of those a day in the spam box, which are a pain in the ass.
Got the pro prods coming out.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow morning's release, I think, 8 o'clock GMT, is going to be for the new and improved black pods, which are, where have I put those? They were here. Did I give them to Kath for the giveaway section? Yes, I did. So tomorrow, coming up, there is a video for these. These are the new Black Pros from ProPods, propods.net. And they've sent these over. These are the matte black version of the AirPods Pro. And actually very, very good. Price-wise, very, very competitive pricing. I know I've done stuff for Nokias and EarDots and other people, but these have actually come in and undercut pretty much everyone else on the market for what appears to me to be pretty much the same deal. Now, granted, I've only had these for a couple of weeks they were sent to me and I wasn't sure who they came from because of the whole Chinese delay thing. I wasn't sure who they were from. So I had an email from our friend Kevin and he said, have you had those AirPods that we sent you over? It's like, it was you, was it? Oh, excellent. I've been waiting on those to see who it was. So done the video on those. Very impressed. And I think these were about 50 UK pounds, which for AirPod Pro copies, it's actually really good value for money. Most of them tend to be in the kind of 60, 70, 90 pound mark, which is quite a lot of money for a copy. But around about the £50 mark, which is the sweet spot of where the original AirPod Pros were, that's right, the original AirPod clones, their sweet spot was always around about that sort of 40 to £50 mark for the decent ones. So yeah, hopefully these are going to do really well. So again, if you're looking for some Bluetooth earbuds,
These are going up for giveaway.
definitely look out for the video. But if you're a cheapskate, which potentially you are because you're watching Mike's Unboxing and we do like to do things on the cheap, if you are an absolute cheapskate and you don't want to buy them yourself, then these are going to be going up for a giveaway for next Saturday's stream. So if you do want to win these, we will be posting a link on our Facebook page. Usual deal, go over to the Facebook page, like it, comments. Comments are most important because it's our comment picker is going to pick up your comment and then you'll be in to win. Generally, not a lot of people enter the competition, anywhere between sort of 20 and 30 people. So odds on, you got a pretty good chance of winning these. So if you do want to be in to win them, look out for the post on Facebook. Go on there, comment, like it, and all that kind of stuff, and share it if you can. That'd be great. Get the word out there a little bit more, and you could be into winning those. So £50 worth of AirPod Pros. They'll be winging their way to you. It is a global giveaway. There's no kind of restrictions on that. Obviously, sending stuff to China is probably not a great idea at the moment because of what's going on over there. But hey, if you're watching in China and you want to win them, go for it. Kath's like, no.
I didn't say that.
Oh, didn't you?
No. Suds is asking about your SIP power supply. How's have you got on with it?
Suds, right, yeah, going back to, I think that's it. So the giveaways we've done that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we're up to date. So I'll answer some of your questions now. Suds is asking about the power supply. The CIT, the ATV 500 watt. Actually, yeah, no problems at all. I've actually got it in the PC, like I said, in the front room. I haven't put it under a lot of stress, let's be completely fair. It's an Athlon 200 GE, a R9 380X, couple of drives in there, a couple of LEDs. It's not under a tremendous load, but very quiet, been very cool, and it hasn't lit on fire. So those in my book are all great things, and it's a really cheap power supply. The nearest I can find to being even remotely close to the quality and kind of the branding of it or the aesthetics and all that kind of stuff is the Thermaltake one, the 450, I think it was the RGB one, but it's got that horrible ketchup and mustard cabling, which Ketchup and mustard will not be allowed. I don't know why it still happens. Why not just use black cabling? It's so much nicer and makes the whole deal look so much sweeter. Why do we still have ketchup and mustard cabling in 2020? What is going on? It's like Molex. We're still having that in some things. No, don't need it. We don't need ketchup and mustard. We want nice, clean, black, slick cabling, or even white cabling. Let's just have a solid colour. Hey, let's have pink. Pink power supplies. I'm sure people will be in for that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Okay, so that is, that's that answered. Skystalker says you can't talk about the virus on YouTube, apparently demonetized. I think if you're a large enough channel, that probably is the case. There is a little bit of a worry about that, where YouTube are kind of clamping down on things you cannot and can say within reason. The whole virus thing is a global thing. It's in the news everywhere. Everybody's reported on it. Hell, a lot of people are being affected by it. A lot of the people that have been affected on the big ship that is out in the ocean at the moment, they've been sent back to a place in the UK, the Wirral as it's known, which is not a massively far away from us, and they're also being transported to Wiltshire as well, which is pretty much on our doorstep. So I think we've got every right to discuss it. Maybe not to spread panic and fear, but certainly to raise awareness. If you didn't know anything about it and you got somebody on the bus next to you, or in a car, or in a coach, or whatever it may be, and they're coughing and spluttering, obviously you want to be a bit kind of aware of what is going on. Potentially that could be a life-threatening bug, so
Yeah, but is it more
stay away.
conspiracy type stuff?
Yeah, conspiracy stuff, yeah, definitely that's going to get you demonetized because, well, it could be a conspiracy, it could not be. Who knows? Who cares? People are sick, it's not a good thing. So anyway, moving on from that. I don't know, any more questions? Seaman Knight saying SSD prices have gone up and stock seems to have gone down as well. Totally, that is a repercussion of what is going on in China. Manufacturing's down, or out. Stocks are dwindling. Memory prices are going to start creeping up, definitely. That is going to be a thing. I would say if you're buying PC parts, do it now. You may have already missed the boat. Prices are on the increase. Power supplies have definitely been on the up for a little while now. RAM prices, I think, are pretty much bottomed out where they are. The SSDs have come down, well, have gone up slightly from where we were at Christmas time and Black Friday and the New Year's sales, which is to be expected. There is always a bounce back in February and March. That's always a thing. If you look at the Three Camels, which is a monitoring application or program for Amazon, you can see sales history and you can almost see when prices are going to be low on there. Very useful. So if you're looking at buying something, try using the Three Camels. It's pretty good. Let's have a look. What else is that? Yeah, Alexa says ketchup and mustard belongs to on French fries and hot dogs. Yes, not inside a PC, unless maybe you're doing a fairground themed PC, in which case it might be applicable, but probably not. Ninja47 says just use extension cables. Ninja, that is an acceptable comment, but those cables cost money. If you go onto Amazon now, even for relatively cheap cables from China, you're looking at about £20 for a set of cables. So you'd be better off spending the £20 on a better power supply and getting decent cables anyway, rather than extensions. I've got the same thing because I've got a set of cable mods cables there, which I can use if I want to, but it's like, well, they cost money, they're added onto the build, so that takes value away from it. It's nice to have, if you've got the money to spend and you want extra nice cables, great, do it. But me personally, I'd rather just spend maybe £5 more on a power supply and get some nice cabling on it. For me, that works.
Because Suds wants to sit and they're all saying no, basically.
Sud says, yeah, it irritates me like you really want black cables. Yeah, it's like, it can't be that hard to do. Surely, in the economies of scale, if they had to buy 500 miles worth of black cable, they would get it cheaper than buying a couple of 100 miles of all these individual coloured cables. It makes sense, surely. It may make it more difficult for the kind of manufacturing process because they might have some complete dipshits on the production lines and they're like, well, that's a black one, where does that go? But realistically, most of that stuff's done by machine these days, so I don't think that is going to be a problem. So it says the EVJ cost more. The CIT one is currently £27. I've got to be honest with you, the CIT power supply, I will be a complete advocate for it. Until something goes wrong with it, for me personally, it seems fine. 80 plus bronze, £27, all black cabling. What's there not to like?
Maybe a fire starter for the rubbish PC behind.
Yeah, maybe I'll put it into the PC behind, let it catch on fire, and then claim on the insurance for the whole damn thing. A letter says, my cables cost $65, not everyone can afford that. Totally a great point. That is what it's all about. Essentially, when you're doing PC stuff or building stuff, you'd rather spend money on like things which are going to give you a tangible benefit, like the next level graphics card or slightly faster RAM or a better cooler. So spending an extra £20 on a power supply, which is pretty much going to be hidden away anyway, it's like, do I want to do it? It's upsetting. Okay. So it says, what if you paint the ketchup and mustard cables black? I did actually do that in a video a long time ago of how to sort of make a ketchup and mustard PC look a little bit less ketchup and mustard. And even just using things like a Sharpie, colouring in the bits that are visible, actually does help and does limit what it looks like. And actually the finished product, if you take your time and do it, don't actually look too bad at all.
Was there any ITX case that isn't too wide?
Mahir T says, any ITX case that isn't too wide supports ATX PSU side window and below £100. Yeah, there's one I saw on Amazon recently from Silverstone, which was actually looked like a really good case. There's also a couple from, who was it? It was one of the cheaper case manufacturers. It was about £25. It was really good. But yeah, if you look for the Silverstone one on Amazon, the other one should come up as well. That's how it did for me anyway. And it's not, not very wide. Seaman says, couldn't care less what the coloured cables are as long as it works properly. Yeah, there's a point in case exactly there. Which, bizarrely, is still running OBS with no problems. And one thing I did try on this PC, just reverting back to it quickly, the kernel 41 error and the error message in the event logs did actually point towards OneDrive, which I know I kind of mentioned on that a little bit before. And I'm kind of tempted to remove my user profile from that PC altogether and just do a blank profile, set up OBS on it and see if it actually runs any better. But that's the point, you want to have all your stuff there so you can access it easily. Oh, anyway, moving on. Buntu Dread says, a bit late for the party, been out on a computer emergency. You should have come around here and sorted out my computer emergency. Sud says, Mike, can you do a review on the Aerocool Cylon RGB? No. Because Aerocool are not returning my calls or my texts or messages. They are ghosting me, ghosting Calf, and we're very upset about it. So if you want Aerocool to send us stuff, send them an email, send them a message on Facebook or Twitter or the Instagrams and say, please can you reply to Mike's unboxing? That would be very helpful.
Or ask them to.
You could all do that for me, that would be fantastic. Alexa says, I would really like to see the cost of compression fittings go down. The fittings on my custom loop cost £250. Yeah, that's another thing, which is like buying PC hardware. Like if you want to upgrade to a water cooling, custom water cooling, I seriously want to do it. Not in that thing, not a chance in hell. But I've got my thermal tape case over there, which I'm itching to do a build in, which is the S300, is it, Kath? Is that the S300 there? Or S?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Thermaltake S300, which we were sent by Thermaltake. I'm itching to do a build in that. In fact, this is no word of a lie. Last night I was up at like 3:30, 3:45 in the morning, just mulling over ideas in my head. I was in bed. I was like, I can't sleep, insomnia, what is going on? And it's because that Thermaltake case. And I want to do a water-cooled build in it. I really genuinely do. But you look at the pricing of stuff, like the fittings at the moment are insane prices. Used to be a couple of years, well, say more than a couple of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, you could get compression fittings for water cooling for about £1 a piece. Whereas now, anything up to sort of £20, £25 for one fitting. Now, if you bear in mind, if you've got a lot of loops a lot of radiators, a lot of fittings, like maybe you've got a GPU and a CPU block. You're going to be using 15 to 20 fittings reasonably easily on a modest build, especially if you're not very good at bending pipes. So you're going to be using the kind of the U-bends or the 90-degree bends, that kind of stuff. It's all going to add to your price. So you're going to be looking at sort of best part of 500, 600 pounds just on water cooling, when you probably could have spent that money on a much better processor and had amazing performance rather than those aesthetics. Now, I get it, it's art and it looks nice, it's all cool, that kind of stuff, but it's so darn expensive. Anyway.
Tony Pepper.
Uh,
C. McKnight says you should have to get a British noob to do some magic on it.
yeah, British noob, wave your magic USB thing and do some magic. Tony Pepper says, hi Mike and Kath, been setting all my streaming channels for the big fight, and the old photo where you're leaning on Mike's shoulder, there's something about it where I can see tech lore.
It's tech lore.
I'm not too sure. But thank you. Oh yeah, of course, there's the fight tonight, isn't it? Awesome. Ah, dear. Anyway. So, yeah. Water fittings are ridiculous. It is ridiculously expensive for what it is. The prices definitely need to come down. I know they're making an absolute fortune on them, they must be. I'm actually more tempted to go and buy some fittings from my local kind of hardware store, like plumbing fittings, push fits, and just using those. Some of those, the chrome fitted ones or the chrome coated ones, actually look really decent. So maybe give those a go. I know Linus did it a while back, so you never know. Anyway, moving on. So we'll get off of that because it's upsetting me. But anyway, what the point of it was, the Thermaltake case, I want to put RGB in there and water cooling. Now if I go down the Thermaltake route, it's going to cost me £500 plus for the water cooling, the radiator, the pump, the reservoir, all that kind of stuff. And that's only with 3 fans. So if I add on more of their Thermaltake fans, their new cool ones, you're looking at about £30 a fan. So that thing will hold up to 8 fans. So that's going to cost me an absolute fortune. I'm looking at almost £1,000 put into that system before I've even put any hardware in it. It's insane. Oh, that's including a Thermaltake power supply as well. So you need to have some seriously, seriously deep pockets to do a decent upgrade these days in a PC. And this kind of seems to be the way things are going. Everything's more aesthetics. Whereas before it used to be almost all the graphics cards were essentially the same apart from slightly beefier coolers because they run hotter, all that kind of stuff. In fact, a lot of GPUs used to share the same cooler design through an entire range. Whereas now we've got all these crazy ass coolers like triple fans and blades that spin in opposite directions. It's so confusing. Even for me, I've been doing this for a long time, but you go through the listings and you kind of, well, that looks really good, that's a great price, but oh, it doesn't support the RGB on that one, and this one only works with that ecosystem. The RGB ecosystem is an absolute mess. Genuinely an absolute mess, which is part of the reason why I love those up here fans. They're super cheap, you get 6 of them and a control box, and it all works on SATA for like £40. And I'm thinking to myself last night, sod it, I'm just going to order another set of those up here fans, I'm going to stick them in the Thermaltake and I'm going to be done with it, that's it. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I looked on the Amazon app, this is like 3:30 in the morning last night, looked on it, it's like, great, I'll get it for next day delivery, I can do the build, fantastic. And then I thought, oh crap, we're already in Saturday morning. I'm doing the stream tonight, so that means it's not going to come until Sunday, so I can't do the build tonight live. Damn it. So that put me off even more, and I still haven't ordered the damn thing. So I'm no further forward, apart from I've lost about 5 hours sleep over the whole issue. And the graphics cards, oh my days. So RTX 2060 is what I want. I've kind of set my mind, that is what I want. I've got a 1070, it's great, but I want a 2060. It's going to be better for me because obviously for using Premiere, all that kind of stuff, it's a decent card. It competes really well with the 5600 XT, and the 5700 has kind of been made irrelevant by it. So it's in that kind of ballpark. And when they released the KO version, which is the one I really wanted, $280. So that should, in theory, equate to around about £250. But obviously, in the UK, we got absolutely shafted, and they were still trying to charge £300 for what is a $280 card. So that obviously isn't good. So I held off. No, I'll look elsewhere. 5700 XTs are coming around, 5700s, 5600 XTs, all kind of like within kind of nudging distance of each other performance wise, but also price wise generally going up. And as per usual, the Strix cards and the more fancy cards, you can add on another £50 to £100 just for a fancy RGB cooler, which yes, is going to look nice, but realistically, is it going to work any better? It's just more points of failure, all those kinds of stuff. And then we've got all this stuff with Windows and the Radeon drivers and all the issues. It's like, I really should be sticking with NVIDIA. Even though it's been proven time and time again, the underdog AMD against the NVIDIA counterpart at the same price point or similar price points, as time goes on, the AMD card will get better, the old AMD fine wine technology. So that will go up and get better. So you're investing in a card which may have crap drivers now, or maybe slightly buggy in certain circumstances. It's a bit of a crapshoot. You never know if it's going to be, it could work perfectly, no problems at all, like Aletta and some others have said. But also again, you've got some people who've had absolute nightmares. I'm having a nightmare here. Loads of other people are messages, guys on our Discord forum having serious problems with the new graphics card they bought. Yeah, no obvious telltale sign of what is going on. The common factor is AMD or Radeon. So that's where I'm at. I really want a RTX 2060 KO, but I would prefer it from Zotac because I like Zotac stuff. EVGA stuff is good, don't get me wrong. It's EVGA 1070 that's in my video editing PC and it's been absolutely perfect. But Zotac generally do things very similarly, a little bit smaller and a little bit cheaper, more importantly. So you can save some money there, spend some money elsewhere, which is awesome news. So like I said, I messaged Zotac earlier today to see if their version, the RTX 2060 Mini, whether or not that has got the upgraded TU chip or the kind of downgraded TU chip, which was in the 2080, just with a couple of things kind of spliced off it, which helps with video editing work, which obviously, this is a YouTube channel. Video editing is a big part of what I do, especially on the PCs, stability, streaming, all those kinds of things. So I need it to be super stable, and touch wood, NVIDIA have had their issues with dodgy things going on in the GeForce software, but generally on the whole, their actual driver base, the base driver, if you don't have all the other stuff added on, is actually pretty decent and pretty stable. You're not going to get all the updates. As time goes on, the card is going to start falling behind, but what would you rather have? A more reliable card right here, right now, when you've actually paid for it, or would you like to maybe keep hold of a card for maybe 3 years, 4 years, and really wait for it to kind of come into its own? I would really rather play the short game, have stability, reliability, and possibly save a few quid by going with a Zotac route and see what that's all about. So hopefully I'll find out from that. I have posted a post on Facebook to them directly. If they answer me, great. If they come back and say it's all good, I was going to go ahead and buy it. For £270 at the moment, the Zotac 2060 Mini looks like a fantastic option. And to be honest with you, if I get to the point tonight where I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull the trigger and buy it because I'm in a bit of spend happy mode at the moment. Which, sorry?
Do the evolution.
Right, Kath says I need to answer some questions. So okay, let's answer some questions. Evolution, I can't see evolution. Oh, that's like, oh, DD Evolution says, hi Kathy Churchill. She doesn't like being called Kathy. You got to call her Kath, or she'll be pissed. Evolution. Oh, do the Evolution. I have to decide if I'm going to upgrade my motherboard and graphics card to a PCIe 4.0 or keep my current motherboard that only supports PCIe 3.0. Your thoughts? To be honest with you, depending on what you're getting, if you're going to be buying an NVIDIA graphics card, then it's pretty much pointless going for PCI Express 4.0. The difference in real terms for most systems at the moment from what we've seen graphics card wise, there's virtually no difference in it whatsoever. If you're looking at maybe upgrading the hard drive at a later date, then yes, maybe you might get a little bit more out of it. But Linus did a video recently comparing SSD versus PCI Express Gen 1 versus the latest Gen 4s, and people just couldn't tell the difference. They really couldn't. So I wouldn't get too het up on it. If you've got a motherboard already and you need a graphics card or something, just spend your money on your graphics card, keep your current setup. Bit difficult to note, Bit difficult to know which setup you've got already, but maybe join us on our Discord and we can go through it in a bit more detail. Sud says, Mike, what's better, water cooling or air cooling? Well, both of them have their benefits. Most people who want reliability and longevity and just want to put it in and forget about it will probably go air cooling, and also you'll save a ton of money. Water cooling is very good. It's got a larger thermal mass, so your temperatures will seem lower. If you're doing constant workload, where you've like video editing or rendering, where you're maintaining a high CPU load for a long time, then eventually you probably find that a water cooler will actually get to pretty much the same temperature eventually as your air cooler would before things start throttling. It's just water takes longer to kind of absorb all that thermal energy. So on paper at least, or in benchmarks, it appears to be a lot lower. Again, there's lots of variables. If you get a twin tower cooler with two 120mm fans and put it directly alongside a 242mm radiator AIO, a general all-round decent one like an H100i, essentially they will perform very, very similarly. For me, air cooling, I would say, if I had infinite supply of money and fittings and tube bending equipment, then I would probably go water cooling, but I think realistically the sensible money is on air cooling, which is probably going to piss that letter off. But like I said, this is a PC thing. We're all enthusiasts. If you like doing it, hell, do it. Why not? Where are we? Tony Pepper says they want everyone to use plastic piping now, unlike McDonald's where you can't get plastic straws anymore. I wonder when they're going to start jumping on that bandwagon that PCs are using too much plastic, so they're going to have to start putting plastic tax on it. There's a thing. Yeah. Seamanite says just put as many Noctua fans in a PC. Ugly but effective. If you go for the newer Noctua fans, the older ones were a little bit slower spinning and they weren't as good, but they were exceptionally quiet. Bunsu Dread says prices are rising slowly. Sorry, just looking at water cooling, that's good. Bucky Cat's in the house, always late to the game, been out for a steak. Nice. Captain Meets Adventure says, Mike, let's blame Amazon for everything. Seems pretty reasonable. Yeah. Aletta says, I know you feel Mike, I like my 5700 XT, but now I'm wanting a 2080 Super. I did actually see on Facebook today, there's a local person who's selling a 2080 Trio, the MSI version, one with the 3 fans and all the RGB bling, and they wanted about £450 for it. And I was like, oh dear, that is seriously tempting, but that's a lot of money to buy a second-hand card, especially when you don't really know what it's been used for. But I was definitely considering that. Bunty Dread says that the KO would be good for my usage. Yeah, definitely. That is why I would like it. I did look earlier. Again, I can't show you because the streaming. I did look, and there is actually a KO version on Amazon. Actually, it was the Ultra, the KO Ultra, which is about £330 at the moment from I think it was CCL or Scan in the UK. Which potentially, if I can't find something that I really want, that might be the option. I'm a bit gutted I haven't got another NVIDIA card here to actually put into that PC test to see if it actually does become more stable. Strange. Very strange. Just reading that, Skystalker says his crash occurred at 103 degrees C. That's pretty scary. Glenn's back on his PC. So, Back to what I've been doing this week. So, well, last couple of days, I've been getting really frustrated with my camera, which is actually served me really well. The Lumix G7 is a fantastic camera, but for those of you that are in the know about cameras, Panasonic, their autofocus isn't the greatest. They use phase detection, which isn't always the best. Now, if you're watching this video, I can probably see it in the background a little bit. So this light just next to me, because it's quite close in focal distance to where my head is, which is kind of like the focal area, you'll probably notice if you study it for a while, the focal point, it will sort of hunt on the light, so the light will kind of appear to be doing this kind of strobing thing. You don't always see it. It does it when it feels like it, to be honest with you. The focus on the Lumix, the autofocus anyway, is very much hunting, so it sort of pulls focus and it bounces forward and back until it finds where it wants to go. Now if I put my hand in front of it, you'll probably see how that works in reality. And I take my hand away now, whether or not, I don't even know if that focused on my hand and whether it's refocused on me. Actually, I'm watching the replay now, so I don't think it did actually focus on my hand. Which just goes to show you the autofocus is very, very hit and miss. When you're making content, the last thing you want to do is have to worry or to be monitoring what is on the screen, especially because the little 3-inch screens are tiny and you kind of old man eyes, I can't see a damn thing. So I've decided I'm going to treat myself and invest a little bit more in the future of the channel. So I've gone and got myself a new Sony A6400, which actually has been reduced at the moment in the UK. It was eye-wateringly expensive at £1,000. I just bought it, it's been reduced by 25%, £750, which is an extraordinarily amount of money for a camera. But having said that, the Lumix G7, when I bought it with that 12 to 60 kit lens, cost me I think about 520 all in, thereabouts, wasn't it, Kath? No, 600 and something, wasn't it? Because it was 500 for the camera, and then we spent about £100 more because we upgraded the lens and the SD card and stuff like that. So
Because they gave us cash back, didn't they?
yeah, we got cash back on the credit card and all that kind of stuff, so it balanced out.
No, there was a cash
But
back.
cashback deal, wasn't it, from Panasonic? Yeah. Did we actually ever get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure we did. Yeah. Anyway, I digress.
It was too
So
easy.
we've spent about £150 more than what we did last time on the camera. And to be fair, the G7 has done really well, but the focus is an absolute pain in the ass. You never know what it's doing, and especially when I'm filming the kind of B-roll shots, whenever you're doing anything, the stabilization isn't great. It hasn't got any in-body stabilization, only the lens. So when you're doing kind of B-roll shots and you're kind of moving the camera around, you never know what it's going to be focusing on, because it will just keep on trying to hunt and do things. It's not a good thing. And quite often I've done loads of footage, I've done a piece to camera, spent half an hour or so making footage, and I've watched it back and it's like, why the hell is it focusing on that fan in that corner? It's supposed to be focusing like here or whatever.
If you have spaghetti bolognese in your mouth,
Yeah.
does
You
it?
guarantee actually, if I have something to eat before I start filming and I've got like spaghetti juice down my face or a little bit of curry smeared on me, you can guarantee 100% of the time that is going to focus in, boom, spot on, it's going to be
So, like,
right on
that's
there.
my fault.
Or if I've like gone overboard on the chocolate and the fat foods and I'm breaking out all over the place, you can guarantee it's like boom, spot straight on that. But anything you actually want it to focus on, not a hope in hell unless you set the manual focus. But if you want to set manual focus, you have to be very close because you need to see what's on the screen to see where your peaking points are. You can't do manual focus remotely from an app because it's a manual ring focus, it hasn't got power focus. Little things like that. The audio quality is great, the HDMI out is nice and clean and works great for streaming. So I will keep it as like a B camera. So rather than using this thing, I'll put the G7 off to the side, set on the manual focus to see what's good on the bench or maybe a top-down shot or something. And I'll let the A6400 take over front and center, which is going to be great, hopefully. So that is going to be coming tomorrow. And also I've ordered a lens protector, an ND filter, which is what I use on there, which is basically like a pair of sunglasses for the lens, so you can let the lens open up more and get more detail, more sharpness in your shots, and have a couple of different stops on the... Anyway, I'm boring you now. But essentially I've got ND filter come in, I've got a permanent power pack come in as well, because I normally run on batteries, so I've got a permanent power pack and screen protector for the LCD on the back. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm actually really looking forward to unboxing it, taking it for a spin, doing some live streams on it, and getting to grips with it. It's kind of exciting. Anyway, that's enough of that. So we've got a camera coming. So I bought this USB cable, hoping that was going to be the saviour or the answer to my prayers, but obviously I crapped out with that. Oh, this is another thing I've got as well. Any guesses what that is? I'll give you a couple of seconds in the chat to
You've got that up there as well.
What's that?
That up there, it's all the yellow.
Oh yeah, of course, sir. I can't even open that. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is...
Scissors in that thing.
Oh yeah, there is scissors, yeah. Actually right next to me. You've got to be careful with this, because I read some of the Amazon reviews, and they said that these can be a little bit delicate. What is it, a diamond play button? No. Darren UK says, "Hello Mike, is it a PCIe cable?" Very good guess. Yes, it is. So, because I was thinking of the thermal tape build, I've got to do the S300, and obviously thinking about having a new shiny graphics card in there, that is the perfect opportunity because it's got the bay on it which rotates 90 degrees, so you can have the GPU vertically or horizontally. But I didn't have one of these, which is a expansion riser.
Seemed like I thought it was a Pop-Tart.
So I wish it was a Pop-Tart, I'm starving. So this essentially plugs into your PCI Express port, and then you flex that round to wherever your GPU mounting area is, and then you put your graphics card into this section. So this was actually really, really good value for money, which again, I was going to show you on a screenshot. I'm actually paid for it, but because the PC's crapped out, I can't. So maybe put some links in there, or Kath will put some links in or whatever. But I think it was about 13, 14 pounds, which is actually really good value for money because some of them can be like 50, 60 pounds, which seems absolutely incredible. But yeah, it seems to be quite good quality. There's some sort of bridge over the top of that, which is actually holding it. Actually, I'm not going to take it apart. I'm going to wait until I've actually got it. There are instructions in there, which is good. So we'll be taking note of those. Although I've just noticed some of the instructions, they've used probably one of the world's oldest gigabyte motherboards on there, which if the camera ever focuses on that, you'll be able to see it. But you can see the sort of goldy yellow coloured heatsink on that gigabyte motherboard with the pale blue PCI Express. I'll see if it does focus. Is it going to focus? If I put it in front of the how-to thing, it'll probably get it. See, it's absolutely positively locked on the Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How-To illuminated sign. What an absolute piece of crap. It'll lock onto the fans now. I bet the fans are super sharp, aren't they? Can you see every blade on those fans in the background? Damn you. Damn you, camera. Hate you. Manual focus is the way forward. Or a better lens. That is only the kit lens. But anyway, so we've got instructions on that, so we'll be putting that into the PC. Which is all part of my dilemma on what to put in that PC. It's not an easy thing these days. Upgrading a PC used to be pretty simple. There was a couple of options on the market. You had either a beige case or a beige case. Yay, it's crashed again. Oh, I didn't see what happened. So the streaming PC in the background has crashed again, and it's not actually physically streaming. OBS was running, but it just rebooted. So I'm going to take a look in the event log and see what I've got. I'm going to put money on it being kernel 41. And actually, did anybody notice in the background the lights change on the PC? Did they flicker at some point just then? Because we were looking at that. I can't really see them because obviously eyes in the back of head.
You've got a screen in front of you.
Yeah, but it's a bit far away. So let's have a look at the event log. What's the bets, everybody? Kernel 41?
KFC.
I think it probably will be. KFC. Oh man, Glenn's just eating a damn steak bake.
Well, we had that for tea almost.
We had a corned beef one.
Steak bake.
Corned beef, chips and beans. Oh, I'm so hungry. I could actually genuinely go for a kebab now. Yeah. Darren UK says, gotta watch out for some of those cheaper brands, they burn out. Hey, well I've got that CIT power supply and that thing, what could go wrong? Right, let's have a look. Critical error in the last 24 hours. Kernel power, what time was that?
something.
Time-wise, 22:14 and 55 seconds, sounds about right. Yep, kernel power, again, critical. So details on this one now are Windows, Microsoft kernel power, mic stream, bug check code 80. Nope, there's actually nothing in there which makes any sense whatsoever. General. Yeah, it just resets itself for no reason. I wonder if it is the power supply. Not the power supply, the case itself. Maybe I'll swap the case out anyway, just to see what happens. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Anyway, moving on. So that has bloody crashed. It sucks. Not good.
Nathan Green said he kept getting that. Turned out it was a faulty RAM stick.
Nathan Green kept on getting turned out to be a faulty RAM stick. Well, I did think of that actually, because I have swapped around the RAM in there a little bit. And at the moment it's got the silicon power RAM in there, which actually has been generally okay. So maybe I should put the V-color in. But I'm sure I put the V-color RAM back in and it did the same thing. Very confusing. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Oh, Captain Meets Adventures.
Captain Meets Adventure says Mike's unboxing tech, teabag, beer, and food reviews. We did actually do a long time ago.
You were suffering man flu.
When I had man flu that time, and we actually did yeah, Kath will put a link into it. The biscuit taste challenge. Now there was a new set of cookies out from Maryland, and there was a caramel flavour and a coconut one, I think it was. So we bought both packs because they were on special offer at Tesco's because well, cheap we are. And we decided we'd do a video on it to do a taste test, which we did with George actually, and George got involved. And I got into the video, I was doing it, saying about the taste and that, and then I said, actually, I can't taste a thing because I got this cold, and it kind of made the entire review irrelevant. But it's quite funny. If you want to have a bit of a laugh at my expense, then feel free to watch it. Kath's going to post a link so you can open it in another tab for later on. Alexa says, yes, what could go wrong with a cheap PSU? If a 12-volt rail shorts into a 5-volt rail, you can kill the motherboard, CPU and RAM. Yeah, that's not great. Captain Meets Adventures, why don't you give the PC a Viking burial at sea and film it? It's not a bad idea, actually. Not a bad idea at all. Last but not least, another thing I bought this week, which is probably completely useless, but I went on to Vipon just to see if there was any deals on there. And Vipon, whichever you want to call it. I actually found this. This is a mobile phone or tablet stand made by AI Tech. It's actually really, really well made. It's quite stiff. It's definitely had a couple of Viagras, but you've got this hole in the back, so you can put your USB cable through there. So if you want it on your desk or something, you can do. There's also a pass-through at the bottom. There's little rubber grips there. So you can do that. So you can have it on your desk and have your phone handy so you can see what's going on. All that kind of stuff. Or if you want to watch a movie, you can do that and it doesn't interfere as well because the arms don't come up very high, which is a problem on some of these phone stands. The arms actually wrap around too much so it cuts out some of the phone or gets in the way of the buttons, whereas this one, because it's quite narrow, you've got full access to the power off button there easily, and the volume buttons are at the top, so it's all good. So if you want to have one of this like by the side of your bed so you can watch Mike's Unboxing while you're going to sleep, or if you want Mike's Unboxing to help you get to sleep, or whatever else you want to do, it's actually really good. There is, bizarrely, I don't understand why, but I kind of guess I do. It's designed so you can put it in your pocket and take it with you. So like maybe if you're at school or something. So they've actually cut two holes at the bottom, which actually have been cut really, really nicely. So you can fold that down, and it folds pretty much flat. And the legs only just pop through a little bit. They're not like sharp or anything, so it's not going to damage you. But quite cool, you can put that anywhere you want. I quite like that. And that costs £3. I think that's £3 well spent. And apparently it will take a tablet or a phone. I haven't tried a tablet on it, but yeah, not bad. Quite happy with that. Of all the things I've bought this week so far, that is possibly one of the better ones.
Angry Doge commented on the tasting.
What are you saying?
Just a nice video.
All right. What else we got? Meridan Crispies Cookies Taste Test, just for fun. Yeah, that was it. Captain Meets Adventure says, Mike, defo open a new channel called Mike's Madness. You just top gear it, crazy stuff. We defo need Mike's Unboxes Conspiracies. I would love to do a conspiracy channel, but they get demonetized straight away, so it's kind of pointless. The time and effort and research and that is just horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. So anyway, I think that pretty much...
Tell him you haven't got the SIP power supply in that one.
Angry Doe says, that's the first time I've seen Mike with a Mike's Unboxing merch t-shirt. Oh, not a Mike's Unboxing, yeah. It's true. On the food test video, yeah, that's true.
Those are the beginning ones we didn't.
Yeah, early in the beginning videos we didn't have any merch, and in fact we did, well, when we started out we had a white t-shirt and I had a printer and I had some of that stuff you iron onto your t-shirt. So I printed out a Mike's Unboxing logo and ironed it onto my t-shirt, but unfortunately I ironed it a little bit too long, so it kind of singed the white bits to sort of like a creamy, milky, whitey yellow. So it didn't look too bad on camera, but in real life it looked awful. So yeah, we had that for a while. I'm not sure what I've done with that. I think I probably chucked it away.
I think we give it to George.
It was good fun. Anyway, I think that pretty much wraps up tonight's live stream.
The SIP power supply is not in that computer.
Oh, Buntu said about the power supply, Kath's just said. Yeah, I haven't got the CIT power supply in the PCBME. That's running the Rio Toro Onyx, which is kind of like an EVGA rip-off, essentially. No, Corsair. Yeah, it's a Corsair rip-off. Same components, just different label on it. So I'm going to have to look into my kernel power and see what is going on. It's very distressing. I may actually have to build that PC into the Thermaltake case just because I have to, which is going to annoy me slightly. But these things do need to be done. Maybe I'll use the Sahara actually, the H500 or the H600, maybe put that up on there. Although they are a little bit big, so it might not quite fit. But hey, what the heck, we'll give it a go. Oh, we've got another case coming actually. For those of you that have that joined us purely because you saw the Co-Link case. The Co-Link wasn't the Observatory, it was a Stronghold. The Observatory was like the glass version of it. But Co-Link actually reached out to us after all these years after doing that video, and they've said, we've got a new PC case, would you like to review it? Now this case is huge. It's massive. It's like the Cougar case that you've probably seen around, like the massive thing. It's like, it looks like the Predator's head. It's absolutely massive. So they said, would you like to take a look at it? It's like, well, I'd love to take a look at it, but firstly, I don't even know if physically I'll be able to fit it on my desk. So I'll try and do the unboxing on it. But if it's too big, are you okay if after the unboxing, are you okay if I give it away to some of the viewers? And they said, yeah, that's absolutely fine. What you do with it after is entirely up to you. So coming up soon, there is going to be a mega giveaway for a mega case, which is the Co-Link. It's got a really weird name and I can't think what it is now. Kath will find it and put a link in the chat. So if you want a very, very unique looking case and you've got plenty of room in your desk or your table, then watch the video, see how things go, and maybe if we decide to give it away, then you can be in to win it. So that'll be a really good one. Glenn says, build on Monday then. You never know. You never know.
There he is. Chunga.
So, yeah, Kath's going to put a link for that one in there. It's all good. Sky Stalker says, make the giveaway UK local, Mike. Sending that to Canada would suck. It probably would. But we try and do things globally, so we'll see what happens and see how big the case is. Because this case is huge. It is properly huge. I'm dreading the postman coming because he's going to be like, can you give me a hand in with this? Absolutely ridiculous.
Do you want to look at that?
Oh my God, I can't believe it. That is massive. That is absolutely huge. But it does look pretty cool. It's very different. But anyway, gone off track again. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for bearing with us tonight. And sorry that the stream has ended up being as kind of cobbled together it has been. Hopefully you've all enjoyed it and had a bit of a laugh. And if not, it's taken up some of your time. Or hopefully prevented some insomnia. So, I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next live stream. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. And now I've got to walk all the way over there to end the stream. That's not infuriating at all. Night everybody.